Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
This is the closing bell on the Stock Movers Report. The companies making moves at the close of U.S. trading with Carol Massar, Tim Stenovec, Romaine Bostick, and Scarlet Fu.
To the individual gainers, Kroger, number one gainer in the S&P, nation's largest supermarket operator. Sales surpassing expectations. Comp sales coming in better than expectations, too. This is during the latest quarter. So consumers are still spending on groceries and other essentials, even amid economic turbulence. So the company raised its full-year guidance, reaffirmed the rest of its outlook, citing an uncertain, though, macroeconomic environment. So Kroger, as I said, number one gainer in the S&P 500. That stock up just shy of 10%. CarMax, an outperformer, up 9.5% at its highs, finishing with a 6.5% gain. Number three gainer in the S&P 500 reported first quarter comp sales and earnings per share that beat consensus estimates. Stock, though, is still down about 17% year to date. 8% of the float is shorted. So there's still some investors certainly with a wary eye to that one. GMS, this one up almost 24%. This company definitely in demand. Home Depot making an offer for the building product distributor, possibly setting off a bidding war with QXO, which this week made a $5 billion offer for the company. The Wall Street Journal reporting this out initially yesterday. QXO has come out and said it will not raise its $5 billion offer for the company. So keep an eye on this one. We'll probably watch that into next week. And I
love a good old-fashioned bidding war. I guess it's not a bidding war if QXO doesn't do anything, but close enough.
Okay, close enough. Yeah. We're gonna at least go with it. This is what I'm doing because Tim's like, Carol, you have to do Circle if you don't do anything else. Oh, wow. Circle Internet up another 20% today. This is the company behind USDC, second largest stablecoin by market share. Its shares rallying again in today's session. It's up about 670, maybe 70%. I meant to check the DES screen. It is up a lot since its IPO earlier this month.
We'll just round up, 700%.
Seaport Global, though, came out and gave it its first buy rating in the wake of the U.S. Senate's move this past week to pass legislation setting up regulatory rules for cryptocurrencies pegged to the dollar. So, yeah. A super outperformer here. You're welcome.
About time you did Circle, okay?
I know.
It's been up like every day.
He's been on my case today.
I have. Hey, I want to get to the decliners. Nvidia shares falling today by about 1.2%. I watched shares of chip companies after the Journal reported that the U.S. Commerce Department, or rather an official in the U.S. Commerce Department, has told top semi companies that he wants to revoke those waivers they've used to access American tech in China. We saw Lam Research fall, Applied Materials, KLA. They were among the biggest decliners in the stocks. Nvidia, though, also falling today about 1.2%. Also, keep an eye on shares of Accenture. They were down as much as close to 11% after the company reported results. Analysts highlighted bookings as a weak spot. Bookings were down 7%. Bloomberg Intelligence says that decline lower suggests soft discretionary IT demand. The CEO in the earnings call, Julie Sweet, said the company, quote, continues to see a significantly elevated level of uncertainty in the global economic and geopolitical environment as compared to calendar year 2024. Interestingly, though, as opposed to what we saw with Booz Allen a few weeks ago, the company said that the federal business division had an immaterial impact on the overall growth of the quarter. Shares down 6.9% today. And finally, Smith & Wesson Brands. I didn't realize this was such a small market cap company. It's like $380 million company, $386 million company. Shares down 20% today. They reported adjusted earnings per share for the fourth quarter that missed the average analyst estimate. The president and CEO, Mark Smith, said, looking at the overall firearms market, we continue to see consumers generally being cautious due to macroeconomic factors pressuring discretionary spending. So people are pulling back on all kinds of purchases, I guess, at least according to the CEO of Smith & Wesson.
All right, let's take a quick look at yields here. Modest declines across the curve here on this Friday afternoon. We should point out, on a weekly basis, it's really the short end of the curve that saw most of the action. Seeing yields there drop for a second straight week. Meanwhile, on the longer end of the curve, 10 to 30 years, you actually had an increase in yields here. So a steepening of the yield curve. In fact, the biggest steepening that we've seen in about a month on a weekly basis. And that, of course, is the setup heading into next week and beyond as folks, Carol, start to refocus in on macro conditions and especially on the labor market.
The Stock Movers Report from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.